So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sage Valentine, and right now I am going to review, as I've been doing for the past few weeks, AMC's The Walking Dead Season 8, episode number 15 this time, entitled Worth. So let me know what you think is going to happen at the end of episode 16. Who do you predict is going to die? If anyone, besides Morgan, because Morgan is a likely possibility. But then again, when it comes to this show, you never know because the writing is very intricate and they have taken quite a few comic book storylines and have blown them to pieces. The big one, in my opinion, was the one involving Dwight and Team Family, and another one was the one involving Dwight and Laura. Unless, of course, the writers decide to use that storyline for Arat, because Arat does look like the Laura from the comics. But still, let me know what you think. But let's just get down to this review. So pretty much, we left off with Rick looking at Carl's letter. So now we start this episode with Rick reading Carl's letter. And of course, The Walking Dead, the powers that be, just had to give us a snippet of Carl speaking while Rick was reading the letter, as if we needed any more feels as it was. Pretty much in this letter, Carl is reminiscing about what life was like before the zombie apocalypse, his life in general with his father, and memories with his dad. So then we see in the background Judith playing by herself, Jerry spinning around with little Gracie, who's adorable. Carl tries to convince Rick via the letter to end this fight, find peace, and make it so it won't happen again. But for those of you who read the comics, and those of you who didn't but are thinking like this is not going to end anytime soon, it's not going to end anytime soon. Then we get to see Michonne holding Judith's hand, and she smiled at Rick, and then she continued walking, and it was really cute. And I liked how they cut that scene to Michonne lying in bed, and it reminded me of that scene in, I believe it was season 5, where Michonne was laying down before she had to do her rounds as second constable for Alexandria. Only this time she gets up, she looks in the drawer, and she's holding Negan's letter. And I'm just like, I'm wondering what she's going to do with that letter. Simon is pissed at Gregory. And Gregory, throughout that entire conversation, is basically trying to cover his own behind, trying to save his behind, which he always does. He wants a second chance. I'm just looking at Gregory like, here we go. And once he finds out that Simon is in charge, his lips try their damnedest to become permanently glued to Simon's butt cheeks. He starts kissing his butt. And I'm just like, and then he kind of starts throwing shade at Negan, and I'm like, Simon, come on, Simon. Gregory then becomes too big for his britches and starts making himself appear bigger than he is. I'm not surprised by that, because Gregory's kind of a jackass anyway, but it's one thing to do it to Rick or to Maggie. It's another thing to do it to Negan, and especially Simon, because Simon's a little, I mean, Negan's, but Simon is. So he tries to read Simon, and Simon basically puts him face down on the floor. I was laughing. Simon proves that he is crazier than Negan by saying, I wasn't going to let you go. I was going to kill you. But then instead he asked him to make coffee. And I'm just like, Gregory went from the leader of Alexandria, the leader of Hilltop, and kind of sort of a bit of a snitch, to a snitch kiss ass, to a bona fide coffee making assistant for Simon. Gregory absolutely has no shame. So I'm not surprised that he accepted that position with a smile. Now, Gregory is the very definition in the Urban Dictionary of what it means to be a hot mess, in my opinion. So finally, the story heads back to Oceanside. I was wondering what happened to Aaron. When we last left off, Aaron was there with the women. I think Enid had left and she was heading back. And Aaron's just plumb tuckered out, laying out, and Sydney and the ladies are trying to figure out what to do with him. And then all of a sudden, Sydney's like, listen, we made our choice. Let him die in the woods. Because they're like walking past and they see him kind of passed out and they continue walking. And I'm just like, poor Aaron. Eugene reveals another trivia answer, another little tidbit about himself and how he likes mac and cheese with sardines. Ew. Ew. And he used to eat it in college, and now apparently everybody else who's making bullets has to eat the same thing. Like, it's bad enough that Eugene has a strange vocabulary. Now he has a strange taste in food. Ew. So Eugene tells the bullet crew that basically Simon is now the leader, Negan is MIA, and we need to double up on production to keep Simon happy and distracted because we may not have as much of a supply as we should have. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with Father Gabriel. Like, this show needs to address why he's sick, what's happening, because when we were with the doctor dude, whose name off the top of my head I can't think of, he was talking about how it might be a bacterial infection, but the show has yet to address that. But then again, the show hasn't told us where Heath was either, and we still don't know where Sherry is, so I'm going to stop asking questions like that for a while until we get to that point. So apparently Father Gabriel was trying to sabotage the bullet production so that those bullets wouldn't hurt Team Family. Gabriel doesn't want to help Eugene, but he's afraid of dying. And on a side note, I don't see him dying until the Whisper War story arc, but then again, you never know. And needless to say, poor Father Gabriel is suspended from his post by Eugene. Eugene heads out to check something and is snatched up by Rosita and Daryl, and I'm just like, what is going on? Dwight's face, though, in the next scene when he sees that Negan is alive is priceless. They need to frame that thing. They need to do something with it because that is amazing. I hope that it's a part of the 2019 Walking Dead calendar because I want that look. I want to wake up every morning and see that look on his face. It is a sight to see. So Negan is pretty calm and chill, and I'm just like, be careful, Dwight. Whenever Negan's calm and cool and collective, he's about to go crazy. He was very disappointed that Dwight and Simon and the others did not show up to rescue him. They were not outside. And again, in this chat with Dwight, Negan's very calm and cool. He wants Dwight to remember what they have done and can still do together. And at this point, I was watching it on Sunday because I woke up towards the end of the episode, so I waited until it fully recorded on my DVR on my phone because I have the beta app for DirecTV now. I'm trying it out. And I was just like, what does Negan mean? I'm like, what is Negan about to do? Is he going to try to kill him? What's going on? So then we see this chat between Simon and Negan, and this is the juicy part, the part I've been waiting for. I was just like, oh, what is Negan going to do? So it went better than I thought it would. Simon asked Negan to give him a pass. He says he'll make it up to him. I'm just like, Simon's not going to make it out of this episode. I know it. I'm just waiting for the moment when it happens. So, thank you, TWD writers, for clearing something up for me. Simon and Negan, together with a small crew, took over the sanctuary and killed those men at Oceanside. And really, it was Simon that killed those men. Simon's crew that did it. Negan describes Simon as essentially a demented ghoul, and he's kept his eye on him, meaning he has never trusted Simon. Negan told Simon to get on his knees. I'm just like, Simon, brace for impact. He asked Simon, are you going to make a move, or is that it? And Simon basically says no, and Negan's like, well, all is forgiven. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, didn't Negan whack people in the head for doing things that weren't as bad. Like, is he gonna die this episode? Like, what is going on? So Negan moves on to this new plan, this idea involving the hilltop, where they're basically, and by they I mean the saviors, are going to box the hilltop in so that they, the people, cannot escape and run off. They're just stuck. Now, is it me, or did Negan seem more disappointed with Dwight, but then on the ball with his critique of Dwight at the same time? Because that's how I felt watching that scene when everybody left the room and it was just Dwight and Negan talking. Then we get to another scene. It's basically that scene with Daryl and Rosita, and they are walking away from the bullet sanctuary place, and Daryl, I think, is leading them back to the car. Anyway, Eugene's running his mouth. Daryl gets sick of hearing his voice. He almost kills him, or at least threatens him, and I'm just here for it because I love when Daryl gets angry. I mean, really, really angry. There's times you see him brooding, grumpy, fussing, but when he's angry, those are the best scenes, in my opinion. Or those are his best scenes. So Eugene tries to explain himself to Rosita, and Rosita's not trying to hear it. She's just like, everyone who has died because of your BS, Eugene. And then she reads the dog crap out of him because she calls him selfish, a traitor, a coward. She told him that we need him to make bullets. We are going to stick you in a hole and force you to do something useful with your pathetic life. And I'm just like, I'm surprised I have edges, because she just snatched my edges, my wig, took me aback. I was just like, damn, Rosita, damn. So Dwight gets a visit from Simon. Simon's in good spirit, but he's worried about that little meeting that Dwight had with Negan. But at the same time, Simon thinks that he is safe. I'm like, dude, you're not. You're not safe. You are underestimating Negan. Negan does not forgive. Negan barely forgets, let alone forgives. So then Simon starts giving Dwight a pep talk. Now, Simon also says, we need to take down Negan. I was just like, boy, bye. Negan is like a cat. He has like 9 lives. I think he's down to about 7 lives as it is, if he didn't get powered up again. But still, he's like a cat. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. And that is a shout out also to people who have been worried about or upset at the fact that Negan still exists right now. He exists in the comic books at this point. Some people are saying, well, you know, the show's not like the comic books. No, it's not. But Negan's not going anywhere. He is officially the brand new fan favorite. So, Daryl was here. Negan's up here. Then Daryl, Rosita, and Eugene come upon this little mini Walker herd gathering, and Daryl decides to take care of it, leaving Rosita to watch Eugene. Eugene decides to stick 2 fingers down his throat and throw up that sardine mac and cheese, which I'm sure stank, because when you vomit, it smells as it is, and you add all those flavors. I know that was just disgusting, and I'd be pissed, just like Rosita was in that scene. So Rosita and Daryl go off looking for Eugene, because Eugene broke away once the walkers popped up, because they could smell that vomit, and I guess that really drew them to Rosita. Once they fought off those walkers, they ran through this area that looked like a bunch of broken up, like ash and burnt up stuff or whatever. And to make a long story short, come to find out, Eugene was hiding in the ash. So that was literally the second character to find an awesome, or to make an awesome hiding place. Camouflage themselves, whatever you want to call it. Awesome. Anyways, poor Aaron is wet and unsafe, but he's still kicking Walker butt. He finds himself surrounded by walkers. He passes out again. And then he wakes up to see the Oceanside women around him. And he's just had enough. He's tired. He's wet. He's probably hungry. He tells them that it's not Enid's fault that Netanya died. That was the Savior's fault. And if you guys keep yourself secluded, you're going to continue having to fight. And they're going to keep hurting you guys. So, and by they, I mean the Saviors. That little revolutionary resistance gathering that Simon basically curated and included Dwight in, it did not go well because all of a sudden Negan pops up from behind a dumpster. Is anyone surprised by that? Because I'm not. Not at all. Negan was listening the entire time. He does a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and all the Saviors that came out besides Dwight and Simon are all taken down by Arat and some of the other Saviors and the kind of cute guy with the beard. I think he's also one of the people with Arat. Gary, the scary face Savior, went bye-bye. It's about time. Feel sorry for the actor, but it's about time because he was wearing out his welcome in season 8. And so Dwight was not down with the resistance, and obviously he told Negan what was going to happen, where they were going to gather, and so on and so forth. And Dwight basically told Simon that he knew that Negan was going to win, so he went to the winning side. Would you blame him? No. So Negan tells Simon, you want to be the man, you have to beat the man. And if you do that, you should be the man. Now, a lot of people online were like, I don't care about this scene. I did. Because I wanted to see Negan kick the crap out of Simon. And this episode delivered in this scene. Because Negan emerged victorious from that battle. Is anybody surprised? Anyone? Because once again, I'm not surprised. Dwight tells Gregory to get out and take that map, because Dwight got the map that Negan had. Take it to Rick and the gang. Negan has his hands around Simon's throat. He's like, now I gotta kill Team Family. That was not originally my plan, but because you messed up how many times, now I gotta do it. I'm not happy. And then he basically put all his weight in his hands down onto Simon's throat and crushed his windpipe. It's a hell of a way to go. Bye, Simon. I figured he would get like his head bashed in or something, but wow. That death was definitely a surprise. So Gregory heads back to Hilltop. He gives them the map. Rick and Maggie and Michonne are kind of poring over the map. And Maggie's like, well, what should we do? And the scene cuts to Negan and Dwight walking down the hallway to Dwight's room. And Negan's kind of congratulating him, kind of telling Dwight that he is his second in command, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And Dwight opens the door to his room. Now, there was a lot of speculation as to who that person was that Negan was saying looked worse for wear. Some people thought it was Gregory. Some people thought it was Sherry. Quite a few people thought it was Laura, and they were right. They were so right. Poor Dwight. Poor Dwight. Because once he saw Laura, he knew that was it. She was sitting in a chair in that room. Well, shout out to the people who read the comics, because that little teeny storyline between Laura and Dwight looks like it's dead. Unless, of course, as I said previously, earlier in this review, unless, of course, the writers decide to do that storyline with Arat, given that Arat looks more like comic book Laura than TV Laura appears. Just saying. Negan says it all makes sense. He tries to allude to the fact that he thinks that Dwight killed Sherry. No, Dwight didn't kill Sherry. I think Sherry was snatched up by the Whispers, but we'll chat about that in my next review. We'll talk about that. Negan used Dwight to deliver that message to Rick and the gang without Dwight knowing, and that plan was fake. Again, Negan is 10 steps ahead like he always is. I hope that Rick and the gang do not follow that plan. Negan says he has plans for Dwight. I saw a picture for episode 16. It looks like Dwight is wearing Daryl's beige sweatshirt with the A on it. Yeah. So Eugene returns to the bullet making place, and he learns from that chick with like the mohawk, the one who seemed to be just completely turned on by this whole fight between the Saviors and Team Family. She tells Eugene, listen, Negan's back. Rick and the gang are walking into a trap. We need more bullets. Eugene tells his men that they will rise to the occasion. They will change Savior history. It's time to do something useful with their pathetic lives. And on a side note, I'm wondering, did he say that because he has a plan? Or does he have something going on with Father Gabriel? Like, what is going on with Eugene? Because part of me does not believe that Eugene has fully turned against Team Family, considering his reaction when he found out that Sasha was dead. And he hasn't really been sleeping well. He's been drinking wine, if I remember correctly, to go to bed. Like, I think Eugene is about to do something heroic pretty soon. Will he die? I don't think so, but it's going to be very brave and very heroic. At least I hope that's what he's going to do. Walker Simon is interesting. Stephen Ogg makes a pretty awesome Walker. Pretty awesome. So let's get down to the scene with Negan and Michonne. Pretty much they have a conversation via the walkie-talkies. Michonne's like, Negan, it's me, Michonne. Negan's like, Michonne, the one with the dreads and the sword, and I'm just laughing because Negan is just a mess. Michonne tells Negan that this is about Carl when Negan was like, ooh, is Rick there? Let me talk to Rick. I'm like, I don't know why he was getting kind of smart with Michonne. I don't know who he's messing with. Anyway, Michonne's just like, she's delivering this message, and she said that she's going to read it to him, and he says something about, I'm not going to promise I'm not going to kill the messenger. And she says, shut up and listen. And he shuts up and listens. In that letter, Carl basically says to Negan, is this what you wanted? Maybe you will beat us. But I think it was something like, it's forgiveness, believing that it does not have to be a fight anymore. We can start over. I hope we can change it. But like Rick, Negan doesn't want to end this, and he says that Rick made this happen and that the time for talk is over. There's a lot of debate online about who is worse, Rick or Negan, and how alike they are. Honestly, I never saw those two characters as being alike, but I do see what Robert Kirkman was talking about, The Talking Dead, I think it was last year. Like, what would the story be like if we saw it from Negan's point of view versus the point of view that we're seeing now from Rick's point of view? It would be different. But in this case, I really don't see them as the same because Rick is not trying to be some sort of dictator. He's just trying to get along. He's not trying to scare the crap out of everybody. He's just trying to keep everybody safe. Negan's trying to keep people safe, but he's doing so through fear. See, Rick is not selling anything. Rick is just trying to keep everybody together and keep everyone safe. That's it. But anyway, guys, I'm Sage Valentine. I figured I'd do this review a little bit earlier. I think it's like 4:17. So I figured I'd do it earlier because I've been reading for the past couple of days. I just finished a book by author Meg Gardner called Unsub, and now I'm reading Into the Black Nowhere. I wanted to get this done earlier because I'm going to be watching the Coachella telecast thingy on T-Mobile via YouTube. So I was like, I got to get everything out of the way. So anyway, guys, let me know what you thought of this episode and what you think is going to happen and who do you think is going to die. And again, if you want me to review Fear the Walking Dead, let us know because I'm going to need something to review once this is over because when it's done, it's done. So anyway, guys, I'll see you when I see you, and my next review will be up soon. Love you all. Bye, guys. Bye.